I'm Jeff Stewart, licensed marriage and family therapist and the host of this podcast, From Crisis to Connection. Just maybe a word of advice as you're trying to work through this together as a couple, not to involve the kids too early before you've got your stuff together. You really want to present as much of a unified connection front as possible. Show the kids that you're connected, you're working through this, you matter to each other. I think that goes the same for extended family as well. I think it's normal, from the parents who raised you, almost like you want to turn to them and be like, see, can you reinforce this, or can you call them, or I've seen people even call the other person's parents and say like, hey, can you kind of reparent your kid real quick and put him back in line, you just got to recognize that this is a couple's issue, and extended family might be a part of the journey. But I love I think it was Shirley Glass that talks about, you want to pick friends of the marriage. You want to pick people that are really on the side of the marriage and want you both to succeed. And this is can get so polarized so quickly if you're not careful.
Yeah, I like that. I just said I was doing a group. I have a group for women that are in relationships with men with narcissistic tendencies, personality disorder, that sort of thing. And somebody said, don't look for Switzerland. And I didn't understand what they were saying, but what they were saying was, hey, right now you need friends that will support you, that want the best for you. And I love that. I really do. I appreciate that. And man, when talking about this with, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here either, but something came up when you were talking about the way you communicate about this to extended family. I think we talked briefly in the first part of this was about the concept of reactance, the instant negative reaction of being told what to do. So I still feel like if somebody is saying, hey, you need to realize you're doing something bad here, or you need to go back to your fundamentals, or our brains are programmed to say, no, I don't, so that's where the empathy piece is like, hey, tell me what you're going through. I mean, that is going to lead to change so much faster than somebody saying you need to do this. And then when it comes to the kids, I was thinking about this too. Oftentimes people want to just go and say, hey kids, we need to tell you all, the person that's struggling at times, or they're saying, I got to tell you all these things that I know. And I think often about, man, kids are kids. I mean, they're not in that same place we're at. They're not having the faith journey or the faith transition. And I give this example often where I had someone that was going through a pretty messy divorce, and they went and told the kids, I think 9, 10, 11, where, well, if your mom hadn't cheated on me, kind of a vibe. And, which we know is absolutely a horrific thing to do. But what I thought was fascinating was the person was telling me that the kid said, oh, like in games, like board games, they were cheating. And I just thought that, and it was so right. It was so
Wow.
roughly, powerfully, badly good, because it was this thing where too often are we trying to say, hey kids, here's what I've learned about a faith journey. And the kid is saying, I have no idea what that means.
No frame of reference. Yeah.
None. So that's where I feel like oftentimes let the kids continue to be kids. And we're sitting here saying, man, we got to figure out how to tell them about, the multiple visions of the this or the DNA and the whatever. And the kid's 12. I mean, they can barely, I don't know, they still don't match their clothes or whatever and we're sitting there like, let's talk about these deep gospel principles. So I think sometimes I think you've said this a couple times where I think if we're finding ourselves doing that, what's going on for me right there? Am I wanting to be heard so bad that I'm going to say, hey, look, Billy, did you know these things about Jaredite barges? I mean, it's like, is that what I really, am I wanting to, really tell them this, or am I just wanting to be right? Or am I just wanting to be heard?
Thanks for stopping by and watching this little clip of my podcast interview. If you want to catch the full episode with this guest, you can click on the link below. It'll take you to my podcast and you can listen to the whole thing. Once again, I appreciate your support. I've got lots of other episodes you can check out as well, and I'd love to hear what you think about it.